Hello.
Welcome
Welcome.
to Casual Creeps of Gorehead and the Wiener, and this time we actually decided to make it very casual
Yes,
and
we're trying to make up for them.
make up for the Them series that was pretty horrific. It was not super gory, but the content of it was very divisive and
Amazing show. Please
terrifying.
go watch them. I want everyone to see it, but oh boy, is it a doozy. It will leave
It's
you
rough. It's rough. So
feeling.
I understand if people didn't want to watch through our entire series, but we needed to finish it, and we finished it, and it's great. So if you're curious, just skim through some of our episodes, and you can find out pretty quickly if you'd be interested. But today we are talking about Teen Witch.
Oh, very,
Uh,
very different emotional spectrum than
oh
them.
my god, it's not even like in the realm of gory, but it is like a casual, like kind of in the realm of Halloween
There's a
things.
witch, so there's
There's a
witches
witch in
and there's
there,
magic in it, so there's
and there's terrible rapping in it. So that in
awesome.
itself is
White people
horrible.
rapping in the 80s, dressed
It's like
like 50s street kids from New York.
it's like if white executives from the 80s wanted to put something that resembled rap in their teen movie. This is what they think rapping is, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
terrible.
It's like, oh, yeah. It's everything about this movie is terrible. It is just a. I don't know if there's some. I would love to just know somebody who worked on this movie and ask them why any of the choices were made that were made, because you could
Yeah,
just pretty much sum up the whole movie with it's a just complete train wreck. Like, not.
total.
I don't think a single scene actually like connects or flows into the next scene. Like, a scene occurs and then hard cut to something completely different that has absolutely nothing to do with what was happening. And
There's no
most of the
flow.
no flow, and most of the scenes aren't even in service of creating a story. They're just nonsense.
Well, it's rough because it's like, okay, I could see them having a basic idea for what they wanted for this,
Teen
but the
Witch.
way that they um decided to visualize the story makes no fucking sense. It's like they had too many things that they wanted to just put, like too many 80s stereotypes that they wanted to throw
Mm-hmm.
into this movie to make it appeal to teenagers. Because when I was researching this, I was like looking through to see if anywhere could summarize what the fuck happens in this movie, and I was impressed that they even were able to like milk out a plot out of this thing, because there is a plot, but you kind of forget that there is because there's so many random bullshit that doesn't matter in this movie.
It's just like
But in
teen.
researching,
Yeah.
sorry,
Oh, it's just
but
like
in
Teen Witch getting
researching,
boy. Like, that's the.
oh yeah, for sure, it is that. But there's so many things that distract you from it. You're like, oh yeah,
Oh,
that's right. It is
many,
just that basic storyline.
many,
But
many things.
apparently, they were trying to make a female version of, uh, oh god, where is it? Of Teen Wolf. There we go. A female version of Teen Wolf is what they
Okay.
wanted with this, and then they decided to just make it a witch movie. So
Yeah, like, there's very, very loose elements of Teen Wolf, and for anyone who doesn't know Teen Wolf, there was actually a movie from the 80s, not just a weird hunky boy show that's on the WB.
oh, I love that
but,
show.
but the original one starred Michael J. Fox, where he hits
Yeah,
puberty and finds out he becomes a
hunky boy
werewolf.
show.
And he literally joins the basketball team and becomes the head of the basketball team as a werewolf, and that's how he becomes popular. There's a very famous scene where he surfs on top of a van as a werewolf in the middle of the day too. So the rules don't work in that movie at all. It seems like when he gets horny, he turns into a werewolf, which is pretty unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. Yes.
But this movie, it's like it shares the loosest idea that when she turns 16, she gets magical witch powers, but
Yeah.
that's it. And she's going after a boy, and she gets the boy.
Right.
That's it. Teen Wolf
Okay,
had a
so
more complex story because there's two love interests, the one that he wanted and the one that he should go for. And he learns by the end of the movie that Teen Wolf, shouldn't just follow his nose or his red rocket.
or his red rocket. Ooh.
It's lipstick.
Oh no. But yeah, I guess before we try to describe this movie,
How?
I'll structure this a little bit like our classic podcast because we're talking about a movie and not just an episode. But I don't know. Are you able to give like an intro to this movie? Can you do it? Can you introduce our
I,
audience to the
I
shit show that is Teen Witch?
I started breaking down the whole movie into like scene by scene, and kind
Yeah.
of also like I found it a fascinating movie because there's clear ideas of what they wanted to achieve. Like they saw the stereotype in another movie, they saw that it was successful, and then they tried to put it in their movie, and the difference between what they were going for and what actually occurred in the shooting of the film are so vastly different that it's like fascinating to see like, oh, okay, this scene is the scene where Teen Witch is down after she's been bullied by somebody at school, and she's like in the bathroom, and then Blossom, her best friend, comes in to cheer her up. But in reality, it's not like she was bullied by the other mean girl who's going out with Brad, her love interest. No, she was bullied by what looks like a 60-year-old bitter elderly man who just viciously tears into her for no reason and just lays on her from the moment she gets into the class. She runs out, just completely destroyed by this elderly man who would probably be suspended or fired for treating a kid like this for no reason.
Yeah.
She's crying in the bathroom. Blossom comes in and says all the generic lines that her character should say. It's like, everyone knows he's such a meanie, but it's like, you're talking about a 65-year-old man, like a meanie. And then it just hard cuts to her in a locker room, and then a musical number starts about girls liking boys.
Yep.
And that's what actually happens. And so the whole movie is just like the setting up of expectations and then completely fumbling the delivery on it. So the whole movie is a familiar movie if you've seen any 80s kind of high school teen rom-com sort of movie. Like, that's the feel of it, but every scene feels wrong. And you can immediately understand why it's wrong. And the more that you watch the movie, the more wrong it feels and the more wrong you find in it. It's like a treasure trove of like failed execution.
The further you go into this movie, the more weird gems you find that don't make sense. And I feel like once you get 50% through the movie, you've reached acceptance that this is just not even a movie, and you're just kind of enjoying how weird and fucked up it is, like in a stupid way. But
there's some genuine terror in this movie, though, especially if you're a germaphobe.
We'll get into those fun parts. But so this movie apparently had a budget of $2.5 million.
That's pretty high for the 80s.
Can you guess how much it made opening weekend?
Oh, God. Like, I don't know. You could probably trick people into watching it right away, especially in the 80s with a name like Teen Witch. So, like, I don't know, to make like $1 million at its first weekend, like kind of, I guess back in the 80s tickets were cheaper. So I'd say like, I don't know, 200,000.
Okay. It made under $3,000 opening weekend.
Oh, damn.
And it made
That's before Rotten Tomatoes. People are always blaming the algorithms on why their movies fail.
Under 4K.
Oh, wow, they made an extra $1,000.
And in total, it only made around $28,000.
Damn. How did the word of mouth be so bad on it, though? Like,
it came out the same time that Stephen King's Pet Sematary came out.
Oh, well, yeah.
Bad timing. Yeah, because that's a much better movie.
It is a much better
It's a movie.
It is a movie. Any movie better.
Oh my god. So I will go roughly over the plot as I read on Wikipedia because it did a
Ugh.
better job than what I could surmise. So basically, 15-year-old Louise Miller, she's supposed to be 15.
Yeah, they even also mentioned that she like skipped a grade when the elderly man is bullying her. It's like, oh, I know you're good enough to skip grades, but you're gonna skip class too. It's like, why are you taking into her,
But
man?
yeah, she looks mid-20s and Brad looks like he's 30 at least.
Brad's definitely in
Um,
his 30s.
But yeah, so 15-year-old Louise Miller needs to use the phone after a bike accident where Brad basically crashes into her and finds
Very
herself at
intentionally.
very intentionally, Madame Serena's house, who is like a weird palm reader, and
She's a
she
little lady from
finds
Poltergeist.
and yes, Serena finds Louise to be a reincarnated witch and old friend from a previous life. On her 16th birthday, her magical powers return with the aid of a powerful amulet that was previously lost in her former life. Once Louise discovers she
Oh,
has the power to alter the world around her, she does all the teenage fantasy things like wins over her love interest, becomes the most popular girl, harasses her English teacher. And
that's
then when shit gets out of hand, she discovers she doesn't need magic to get Brad.
I,
The end.
I don't think any of that actually happens.
What do
At
you mean
least
all that stuff
not in
happens?
the way that it's like you imagine any of it happening.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's just
No,
like
those things happen in the movie,
yeah,
but they're
yeah.
interspersed in a way where you don't remember.
Well, and also it's like it's just all so wrong, and like she seems like more like a sexual predator than like a girl in love because she's constantly just staring at him from afar. Like there's just a scene where he's working out with no shirt on in the middle of a field and she's just like staring at him
Oh
from like
yeah.
around the corner and just watching him, and she's dressed like the shooter from Bowling from Columbine as well, which does not pair well. So she has like this giant trench coat on. I guess to be less crass, she looks like the girl, the weirdo girl in the Breakfast Club when she has like
Yeah.
all
Oh,
of her winter
before the
gear on.
stupid makeover.
Yeah, before the makeover scene, she kind of looks like maybe that's what they were going for as well, but just delivered it all wrong.
Oh yeah, probably based a lot of their styles off the Breakfast Club because that was like the thing.
Yeah,
It was
that would have been
weird.
pretty big. And also,
Yeah.
somehow, wasn't Blossom from the 90s? Was this pre Blossom? Blossom,
Yeah.
they steal Blossom's
So
hat
I
from this.
I had to look up that character's name because you kept calling her Blossom, and I thought that was her real name. Apparently her name is Polly.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
It's probably said once. I think every character's name except for Louise and Brad is only
Oh,
said
Brad.
once in the movie. Other than that,
Brad's name is said the most.
yeah. Also, I think that Tina Fey might be a secret genius because I feel that she actually, with Mean Girls, made a secret, like, recreation of Teen Witch. Because the main Brad looks
Yes.
just like the guy from Mean Girl.
There's
And the
so
main
many
Teen Witch
scenes.
girl even looks like Lindsay Lohan.
Lindsay Lohan. Well, there's so many scenes where I'm like when you pointed it out when um Louise is helping Brad in class or vice versa. I don't
Yeah,
really remember, but
who
it
knows?
it it looks like it's straight out of Mean Girls. It's just Mean Girls improved it, you know?
Yeah,
Like
I
they
think.
look way too similar for that to be a coincidence.
Yeah, and yeah, fish out of water character. I think maybe even the guy in Mean Girls is named Brad. He might
I
even be named
feel
Brad.
I don't remember, but I feel like uh Tina Fey probably knows of this movie. I mean, she's a comedy writer.
Hmm.
She's probably seen this and been like, "What the fuck is this monstrosity?" And probably just maybe she's a
maybe
smart
she
lady. She
maybe she
probably
watched
is
it when she
just
was like a teen or something, and like she was like,
probably.
"I'm gonna watch Teen
But I
Witch."
feel like maybe she just took like little homages out of it into her actual movie. I mean, it could be, but it is also like a common
It
way to
is
set up
trope.
a it's a common trope And it's also a very common way to set up a shot too, where it's two characters like leaning
Yeah,
over a desk to, because the shots in this movie aren't terrible. That's the weird thing, is like they've
it's
shot it competently, but they
yeah.
haven't shot it in a way to tell the story
There's
very
no
well. So it's
structure.
like it's like, what are you doing? You're shooting it like a regular movie. You've got lighting, you've got like makeup people, you've got costume design, set design, but like no story.
No, it was like they
It's very weird.
intentionally removed every scene that explained what was happening, and they just showed everything happening without setting anything up for
Yeah,
any of the actions that the characters take. And so
exactly.
you're just constantly confused. Like I don't even know how you even like begin like to even talk about the movie, because it's so like the first scene is just her like her dream of her dancing on top of a building, which
Yeah.
goes on for a
So
solid 2 or 3 minutes.
let's break down the movie
Break it
scene by
down.
scene, or like
Yeah.
scene-ish by scene. We'll try, because
Yes.
the first thing I have for breaking down the movie is what the fuck intro.
I wrote most
That's just,
PG sex dream any teenagers ever
yeah.
had.
Because it starts, and I remember the first time I saw this, because I just remember somebody recommending me watch this movie because it was so stupid. It was just weird as fuck. So I started watching it, and I'm like, do I have the right movie on? Because it's like a very slow credit intro scene
So
where it's like the filmmakers didn't know what the hell to do for this long credit
it's like you could
sequence.
just put it as a music video for the movie, like a promo music
Yeah,
video.
it just looks like the cameraman was like, okay, let's just get some real cool, like dramatic lighting, and I'm gonna get you to do some random cool shit and make it romantic. And you're gonna have this blue scarf, and you're gonna like whip it around in the wind around you, and we'll get some like lighting in this direction so
It's
it'll
gonna be
cast a
amazing.
shadow. And then I'll film the shadow, and then I'll film your heels walking, and then I'll film Brad like just be
Just
standing there.
in
And
a
then you go, oh my
shadow,
god,
full
it's a
silhouette.
Brad. And it's
It
just
looks
like, what
like
the
it looks like
fuck?
the sex scene from Top Gun. Like every scene of Brad's like sexy reveal. It's just like
It's
full
so
silhouette
weird.
with blue splash background. It's amazing.
But I thought of this part way through the movie. I was like, oh my god, though, if you go into the brain of like a 14, 13-year-old girl, and and you just like, as someone who has been like a 13 or
That's
14-year-old girl and who has had crushes on boys in school, this is
got the
like the
posters
thing.
on the walls.
Girls will just dream of their crushes or fantasize about their crushes, and it would probably look like this. It's a weird ass, like, oh, we're on a rooftop and it's romantic, but we haven't had sex before, we don't know what any of this means, so we're
Let's
like,
just
oh, we
dance.
just go up and we dance, and then maybe we have a kiss. Oh my god, a kiss. That's like
She
that's
doesn't
all
even
I can
wake.
think
She
of.
doesn't even wake up like when they're about to kiss. It's like she's just taken a leap of faith off the top of a building towards Brad, and then
I
gets the
know,
look
yeah,
of
that's right,
terror on her face.
she does a trust fall at Brad, and it's like, why are you
But in her dream,
okay?
she freaks herself out, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
That's
And
how
then
she wakes up. She does a trust fall towards Brad and then wakes up because it's the sensation of falling.
I guess yeah. That's a
So
good point, though. It's
stupid.
like the whole movie. If you think about it, if it's just the dream of a 13, 14-year-old girl, like the whole movie makes so much more sense, because
Yeah.
the movie doesn't make it feels more like a dream than a movie, because you're
And it,
just
oh, 100%. And it also makes sense too with the way that her brother is portrayed.
oh
So,
my
because,
god, the
okay, we'll get
fucking
into this
the
now.
whole thing, the brother, that fucking kid.
Because when she wakes up, her brother is under her bed eating cake, and then he comes out and he's like, were you dreaming of Brad? Brad, the red hot lover, Brad, the red hot lover. And he keeps just repeating Brad, the red hot lover, while he has cake sitting
So
under her
much
bed, and like
cake.
cake all over his face and
He's
hands. He's a
so
menace.
it also okay. That scene alone is the first terrible edit of the movie, because when I rewatched it, it really confused. I was like, what the fuck? How does he get pulled out from under the bed? Because the, there's a shot where she looks under the bed, sees that her brother's mowing down on cake and reading her journal, and she's looking at him from one angle, like staring at his face, but then all of a sudden he gets pulled out by his feet from nobody, and she's just on the other side of the bed in one cut pulling him. She goes from like leaning over the side of the bed to being on the other side of the bed pulling his legs out with no indication of how she got there. It's just a hard cut from one side of the bed to the other. I had to watch it a few times. Like, what the fuck? It was like, that's impossible. She couldn't do that. See, if
That's
she
the
used her
least of your
magic,
worries.
she could have used her wizard magic or her witch magic, and that could
Her
have been like the
wizard
first
magic.
indication that she was a witch. But no, it's just a terrible edit,
That would have set something up.
right?
But
Like
no,
she got
this movie
mad and
can't do
pushed
that.
him out. But no, it's just a terrible edit.
They can't do that. But she doesn't have powers yet because she's not 16.
No, but like, maybe it's just like, she's about to hit puberty, so it's like little sparks.
Yeah, it's a little sparks of them here and there. That would have been nice, but no, this movie's
Something.
not that smart.
I also have a theory about the brother, because as I focused on him in his scenes more, I think he may just be a ghost. He might be dead, and he might just be haunting specifically her, because no one acknowledges him at any point in the movie except her. Even his own parents don't mention that he's covered in chocolate in her bedroom. She just opens the doors like, "Come on, honey, you're gonna be late." It's like, "Oh, Mom," and that's it. Nothing about the brother being in there.
The next scene when they go down for breakfast and they're all like having breakfast, and then all of a sudden you just see the brother who has like 2 skewers of burnt ass Pop-Tarts, and he's just holding them up, like, and no one acknowledges him.
Skewers. Giant metal skewers.
He's insane. I don't like. He's hilarious in a really weird fucking way. I don't understand him. I kind of like. I wish he was. I don't know if I don't know. Like, part of me wishes he was in more things, just being this chaotic disaster. But
wonder it happened.
In the other hand, he's just so random. I don't know how he could ever get a role based off of this.
It's so punchable. I just want to hit him so hard.
It's the most punchable face. He could be a really great like childhood bully.
Yes. Yes. He would be perfect.
But really fucking weird. Like the weirdest childhood bully you've ever met. But it could be kind of interesting. Like you would want to hate him. So it would be good.
Yeah. Like you could never put him in a role where he's supposed to be liked. Like that would be his lot in life.
He's not likable.
He's like the 80s version of the kid from Game of Thrones that everyone hated and forced him to quit acting.
That poor guy.
He did such a good job of being a little bastard. Like that's the 80s equivalent. That's that kid.
That's him. Yes.
After Teen Witch, he got bullied so hard he had to leave acting forever.
And then we see Louise go to school, and we sort of finally we see, there's the hot girl coming out of her house into Brad's car, and you can see that Louise is like super jealous. And, oh my god. But then you see Louise and her friend dressed like Mormons, basically, with their like trench coats.
It's a bright, sunny day. They look hot as shit. They're wearing like full wool, like from head to toe jackets.
Yeah.
Again, they're dressed like
thick trench coat type situation.
They're dressed like they should be in like cold Chicago, Illinois, where every one of those movies is shot. But no, they're in sunny California.
It's really weird. So then they get to school, and the first people we see are the rappers. And there's one rapper who needs to be Paul Rudd. And we came up with the idea, and I love this. I really hope this happens.
Tell them our theory of our Teen Witch movie.
So I really want them to recreate this movie, kind of like what they did with Wet Hot American Summer, with the when they're all in their 40s. But they need to cast Paul Rudd as this rapper guy, because he is like the epitome of Paul Rudd comedy. It would just be like chef's kiss, perfect. And there's the friend Polly, or Blossom, would be played by Maya Rudolph.
Yes. That's who we decided was Maya Rudolph, because she starts rapping.
Yes, she starts rapping it, but she would be great as that character. And
the whole cast will be adults, but except for the popular girl.
The popular main girl would be cast as Kristen Wiig.
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't know who Brad would be. He would have to be. We haven't decided on
No, yeah,
him.
I didn't think about Brad. Brad would have to be like some old, like, he used to be actually an 80s heartthrob. Like, you
Yeah.
get one of the guys from like 21 Jump Street to be Brad.
Oh,
Richard
yeah.
Grieco.
Richard Grieco.
He's...
But this might be problematic then. It was like maybe he should be younger, but
Oh.
because the main character Louise is just gonna be like a regular teenager, but her best friend is Maya Rudolph, and
every scene is the same. You don't even change anything about
and
it.
the popular girl is Kristen Wiig.
It'd just be so amazing. Yeah.
Oh, what if the popular guy? Oh no, what's his name? He's in that HBO series.
God, if he's in an HBO series.
He's a cop from Superbad.
Oh, Bill Hader. Yeah, Bill Hader would be perfect. Yes, he would be
Bill
perfect.
Hader is Brad.
Yes, and he like doesn't look cool at all. Like he does.
No.
Like, but everyone treats him
so
like
cool.
the cool guy.
Yes. Yeah.
I just want to see Paul. I just want to see him just like punch the side of that Coke can and just get the Coke for this 16-year-old girl.
Oh my God. But at least the 16-year-old girl would probably be played by someone in their mid-20s. Yeah, so it's not terrible, but
just be so funny.
Still.
It's like, have you ever watched this? It wasn't very popular, but I found it really funny. It's called Superstar. It was like a movie made in like the mid-2000s.
I was obsessed with that movie.
Oh, were you?
I was obsessed.
It is such a funny movie. I didn't watch it till years after it was made, but the concept is the same. It's like Will Ferrell and her are 40-year-old people, but they're playing high school kids.
That is the epitome of my humor. Because like, as a teenager, it might, like, not even a teenage, like, younger.
Yeah.
Like, in grade 6 or something. I was obsessed with this movie. I fucking loved Superstar. She like smells her armpits.
She makes out with the tree. Flashes her underwear to everybody.
Yes. I don't know what that says about me, and I would just the part where she's talking about her boobs. They're not twins, they're sisters.
It's so good. She's like making out with a tree.
Oh, I know, it wasn't that. It was like she made her boobs make out or something. I can't even remember. They're like holding hands. I can't remember. Anyways, it's been a while since I've seen that movie. Her boobs are holding hands.
That movie, that movie's great. It's such a bizarre movie, and I don't think it was very popular, but I just think that humor was like ahead of its time in terms of how
I'm glad that you think my humor was ahead of its time.
Good for you, right? Superstar.
Oh,
well, just the idea of like really cringy like humor, I could see why people would think like, oh, this movie's like shit, but like the jokes are within the jokes. Like just the whole premise is the joke.
I need to rewatch this.
I haven't watched it in a few years. About
the things that I loved as a kid, like I don't know. Like I don't know what that says about
Superstar. That makes a lot of sense.
Monty Python, Superstar, but then also Dracula, Dead and Loving It.
Oh, now I'm not going to defend that movie. That's your own thing. Everyone has something that they like, and no one else does. Yours is
that one.
Is that? Don't worry, mine's Crawl.
I don't know what that is.
Exactly. Don't worry about it. No one gives a shit except me.
Yeah, it was Superstar and Dracula Dead and Loving It were the two things that I would rent incessantly from the movie store, and like it got to the point where I rented Dracula Dead and Loving It out of commission, where the VHS broke, like it stopped working.
You're probably the only person who rented it.
So me and my friend and I, we were the only ones that watched it. It was like a shared obsession.
That's funny. That's
So at least there's
great.
one other person who was
That's
also
good. That's
obsessed
good.
with
You're
I watched
blossom.
it with a friend. Yeah. But anyway, so we got out of on a very long tangent
Super
about
tangent.
it started with Paul Rudd and that
Yes, our
that
elderly
whole
cast
thing.
for our teenage
Our
rom com.
elderly cast. They're not elderly
No,
yet.
not elderly. Middle-aged cast.
Middle-aged
Sorry,
cast.
sorry,
Sorry, Paul
Hollywood
Rudd.
people. Paul Rudd.
Paul
No one knows it.
Rudd,
Paul Rudd could be 100.
he has no age. He can play whatever he
He
wants.
made like I don't know, a pact with a mummy years and years ago. He
Yeah,
says
he's
to like
going straight to hell when he dies because his soul is owned by the devil at this point.
he's definitely made some sort of pact with an ancient being.
Yes. So, okay, and then the next scene we see Louise go to English class, but she's late, and she was writing something in her diary or a note or something about Brad. Oh, I think what happened is she took it from her stupid
Brother.
little brother because
Yeah.
it's covered in chocolate and
And she
shit.
puts it in
And
her binder, you see.
puts it in her binder to kind of get rid of it, and it falls out when she puts her stuff on her desk, and this asshole teacher grabs it and is like, "What is this?" And then
Well,
he goes to
but
the front of the class.
before that part, like before she comes into the class, there's another great Paul Rudd scene where he just literally mocks every woman in the school. Where it's like, why don't women want to be with men? It's like because women are a drag, and he looks like high fives one of his buddies, and it's not acknowledged by the teacher, and then. She comes in, Teen Witch comes in, and she's like, "What the fuck are you doing, Teen Witch? Why are you late, you little bastard?" And like doesn't say anything to Paul Rudd about his super sexist comment that insults every female. Just women are a drag. And he's wearing suspenders and his blue ass shirt.
So, oh my god, this
So,
dude! But
I can
he's
picture Paul Rudd in every scene saying that.
perfect.
With like his
So, because it's basically his character out of Wet Hot American Summer. It is. It's
yeah,
that character.
he could act exactly the same. Oh my god, Dana Carvey needs to be his best friend that just constantly like high fives him back and never says anything. He just stands there cool in like a jean jacket and he looks so old.
Not even a jean jacket, like a vest. Like it's a vest with like a button-up shirt underneath, but the buttons are like
you
undone
get
a
all
little.
the 90s cast of SNL. You get like Mike Myers to be one of the Paul Rudd's buddies.
He's old. He's old. And he
Oh my
looks
God.
old.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God rest his soul, but Norm MacDonald would have just been perfect.
Oh, Norm. He could have been the teacher.
Oh my God, that would have actually been perfect. Yeah.
We're just casting like our fantasy movie of
fantasy
of,
Teen
like,
Witch movie.
Teen Witch.
It makes
Oh,
me
I
so
really
happy to
want it
talk
to
about
be
and imagine.
real.
Right? Why can't anyone make this?
So good.
All the teachers should be younger than the students. All the teachers should be like in their 30s, so that they. So just even more of a bizarre contrast. No one would watch this movie.
I would love to just
Except
be
us.
in it. I would love to just be the principal or something. Just telling Paul Rudd to simmer down or something.
This movie would ironically do worse than the original Teen Witch.
With all these cast members. But anyways, yeah, so the teacher doesn't berate Paul Rudd at all, but immediately just goes to basically harassing Louise and takes her note to the front of the class and reads like how much she's obsessed with Brad in front of the whole in front of the whole class, and she basically just bursts into tears and runs. So it's like, well, yeah, I wouldn't want to be in the class with this asshole either. Runs into the bathroom, and then her friend comes and consoles her.
She could just go to the principal's office and like tell the principal, it's like, there's this asshole teacher that's just bullying the shit out of me. She doesn't have to run into the bathroom like she's got bullied by a mean girl.
It's funny because I don't know why I'm seeing a rise in comedy from people in like Generation X, which is like, but like older people in Generation X, so they grew up in the 80s, and they're saying how much better the 80s is because there weren't people with peanut allergies, and people
Oh yeah.
didn't give a shit about like being hurt. You just like grin and bear it. And if people bully you, that's a part of life. We don't have safe spaces. I'm like, oh my God, can you fuck
Yeah.
off?
Yeah, like
Like,
being
it's not a
sensitive is
good
terrible.
thing. It's not a good thing to just put up with people bullying you. Like, no
Yeah.
wonder you guys have so much fucking trauma because you're not dealing with it and you think therapy is for pussies.
Exactly. It's like I'll just bottle it down. I just think, every time I think about something like that, it's just the perfect line from The Simpsons where Homer's talking to Lisa. It's like, remember, Lisa, what you have to do with your feelings is not express them, but push them deep down and bottle them up until you can release them at an inappropriate time. Like, you remember when Daddy hit the umpire with the bat? She's like, yeah. It's like, yeah, Daddy hit the umpire with the bat. And they just go walk off and have ice cream together. It's like the worst
Oh
parental
my
advice you could
God.
possibly give
Yeah.
a child. It's
I
just
don't
so
know
great.
why I keep seeing that. So like yeah, I don't the way
It's an easy
the
thing to make
80s are
fun of
being
without researching it, because just because it's not talked about doesn't mean something wasn't happening. It's just it
yeah.
wasn't talked about as much. It's like how in the 80s all of a sudden child kidnapping was a huge thing. You know, it didn't start in the 80s. Not some crazy person in the 80s like, "Oh my god, I'm going to start kidnapping kids." No one's ever thought about that. It's like it still happened. It's just it was talked about more.
Yeah, and people with peanut allergies just fucking died.
Yeah, exactly. That poor little kid just suffocated or had to stab himself with like so many EpiPens constantly just to not
And they're
die.
like their argument is like, well, maybe they deserve to die because they have such a stupid thing
Whoa.
wrong with them. And it's like,
Nah.
I
It's a
don't know if you want to go back to the age where the stupid people that basically are just strong were the ones that
caveman.
survived. Cavemen, you want to die in your 40s again? Do you want
Yeah.
that? Because the only reason that we're living past 80 is because now we are curing diseases and people have time to get smart.
Stephen Hawking is the most famous like
Exactly.
scientist in the fucking world. He's probably considered one of the smartest people that's ever lived, and he would be like hurled off a cliff in ancient Roman times if he was born back then. They'd be like, "Oh,
100%.
send
There's
this one
just
off."
so much wrong with that thought process where it's like, I know
It's
you're
so
telling
cold.
jokes.
It's so
I know you're
cold.
telling jokes, but it's so stupid. Like, do you think through any of your thought processes? It's
Yeah,
just
it's not really a joke. It's a comment that's not thought through.
yeah, it's that's what it feels like. It's like, okay, where's the punchline? You want people with peanut allergies to die. Cool. That's
That's
good to
funny.
know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could find something about you I could wish you dead for. Like, I
Right?
hate
I
how
don't
you look off into the distance. It's so dumb and annoying. I wish someone shot you dead. Like, or
there you
gouged your
go.
eyes out so I didn't have to look at your stupid face.
Well, they'd
I
have
just
to
wish someone
gouge your eyes out.
I wish someone just threw like a big cup of acid in your face, just so I
Oh
wouldn't have to
god.
look at your face. Just melt it off. You know, then I'd be fine with you. I just hate everything about your face. There we go. That's my
Oh,
joke.
yeah.
I hope someone throws acid in your face.
You know what? It's perfect that we're having so many tangents in this episode because it represents the movie.
You can't keep your mind on the movie too long because it starts to fray at your thoughts of reality and the concept of just how, you know, everything, how the world is structured. It doesn't belong. It's like an alien made this movie, or an
Yeah,
algorithm, like an AI, a bot. Like,
oh yeah, an
what
algorithm.
you put every 80s teen movie into a computer and it digests it and it creates a new movie. It's like those AIs that create new people out of like other people by just so it's just
Yeah,
like that in movie form.
yeah, because they have people are doing this now where it's like, okay, create a piece of art that is like a minion mixed with Picasso, and they make
Mm,
a bunch of weird ass shit. It's like
yeah.
someone did that with 80s and a witch. Make a movie. And this is what
Yes.
we got. So, anyways, we'll carry on now.
Yes. Okay, sorry.
The
We're
next,
hard cutting from the bathroom, the heartfelt bathroom scene to boys.
yes, we are. We are hard cutting to the women's locker room where for some reason Louise is getting changed, but then all of these like popular girls in their gymnastic outfit,
every other woman in the change
everyone.
room except her start
And they're
dancing.
literally like professional dancers, and they
And
just start doing weird ass acrobats, and they're singing, I like boys. I like boys. I like boys. I don't even know what the other words are. It's just
boys,
I
boys,
like
and bye,
boys
boys,
over.
boys. Like, it's just them singing about how much they like boys. That is
Yeah,
all of the
that's
lyrics.
it. And it's baffling because you'll see them do like these goofy things and they're like laughing to each other, and then it's like Louise is supposed to be reacting, but every time it cuts to her face, it's emotionless. It's just like,
Almost like a look of terror. Like, she's just like, what am I
and then
seeing?
she pops out to look at them and then pops back with no expression,
Again,
and it
she's
just
just like,
keeps cutting to
she's
that
always
same
on the
reaction.
outskirts of everything happening in the
Yes,
movie.
she's
Makes her
just
look like a
observing
predator.
this. And this is the first musical sequence where it just cuts to just hard musical and there's no lead up to it, and that
No.
this happens a few times in the movie where there's just people just start singing. So it's like a weird in between. It's like they wanted to make it a musical but they didn't commit fully, so it doesn't work. It's just super fucking weird.
Yeah, because if you start, it's like, okay, so this must be actually happening in the reality of the movie because Louise is watching it and thinking, what the hell's going on? So
Yeah,
she is actually watching these women doing this crazy dance number where they're like swinging off lights and like dancing on top of lockers, and they're just talking about how much they love boys. And
part of
to walk into a
part of me
bathroom in the real world and just all of a sudden see this going on, you're like, what the fuck? Like,
part of me thinks that maybe Louise is having a psychotic break.
oh, I was gonna.
And
I actually wrote
for
down in
reality.
my notes that they where is it? They have shared dementia because
Shared dementia.
all the women have shared dementia because they're all dancing together. It's like some sort of psychoses that they all share.
Psychosis. Yeah, or like Louise is in, she has um
Yeah, but
what's the word? She's like in a coma or something, and this is like her weird ass brain piecing, trying to like piece together that she's like still living her life,
this
and
is
this
her
is
way
what.
of like of her brain telling her she's like still alive. It's like, remember, you like boys.
Remember, you like boys. Remember, Brad, you like boys.
That would be amazing if every once in a while this movie just cut to a hospital room and she's like
Oh,
in a full rap and it's like, Louise is in a coma. We don't know if she'll ever wake up. And like Brad comes in the room and that's where all the scenes of Brad occur in her mind. And it's like,
or like I would love if it just hard like, so it's her in a coma and it's a very like dark room and there's people crying over her bed, and then it hard cuts to I like boys. I like boys. Do-ba-do-do.
every once in a while she should hear like an unearthly voice like whispering to her like, Louise, we love you. It's just like these voices, but
She's
it's
like, what?
actually people coming into her hospital room and she doesn't know
Yeah.
why.
Oh my god.
She hears
It's
like
so
medical
weird.
equipment noises every once in a while.
We're just trying to add more sense to this movie because there
Yeah.
is none.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
think that's the problem with our tangents. Like, we're trying to justify why these scenes exist because there is no reason that they need to be
there's
in a
no
movie.
reason. There's no reason for them to exist. So the PE teacher comes in and is like, "All right, break it up, time for class or something," and
You
then that's when
goddamn women always dancing in your little pink leotards singing about boys. And they're all wearing like
oh,
skimpy
classic.
pink leotards too. Like,
Yeah,
it's
they're
so
like
weird.
yeah, they're, well, I just said it. Like outfits for doing gymnastics. There we go.
Yeah.
Gymnastics leotards. That's what it looks
Yes.
like.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, like they're about to go do the double bar in their Olympic run.
Yeah. And so it's funny because all of this happens right before like the first line of basically the plot. When I was reading Wikipedia, it's like the first line is like, Louise falls off her bike and she can't get home, so she needs to use a phone. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's the first event, but all
There's
of this happens before all of this happens. So the next scene, finally, she's like, well, actually, not the next scene.
no, no,
It's like a
no, no,
weird,
no. The next scene is some
it's a
beefcake
play.
time. Oh no, no, because it goes to her creepily staring at all the women, and then it cuts to her creepily staring at Brad
That's right.
working
These
out
scenes are
with
so
no
short
shirt on.
because these scenes are so short. It's like,
Yeah,
there's no point to it. So she's, it looks like she's standing in front of a dark alleyway
that's so
and
creepy.
her face is lit up, but then you see her like staring and it's like Brad just running shirtless in a field.
So amazing. And she like has the most terrifying, like she just like slowly like pulls back into the
Yeah. It's
shadows,
a
and it's
cool
just like
shot.
and it's just her face lit until she's completely covered in darkness.
Oh,
It's an
so
amazing shot.
what it reminded me of is like if you're like say you're lying down uh, like with your face up on top of water and if
Yeah.
you like slowly recede into water the water like engulfs your face. It's
Yeah.
like if light was doing that and she was being engulfed by shadow. It was amazing. It should be in a horror movie.
If you just pause on her face, because she also,
Yes,
again, for every time she's watching somebody, she just has this emotionless look on her face. Like she never
she
looks
doesn't
happy,
have
just
much
like
expression. Yes.
into the darkness, like with a blank. Like she's by herself. She could at least be like excited that she's creeping on and being a pervert. She gets no joy out of her perversion. She just has to watch Brad. She doesn't have a choice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that and it's such a quick scene. It was like,
Yeah.
oh god, this is so random. And then I think the next time we see her, she's trying out for like this high
Yeah.
school
Oh,
play.
yes. And we introduce the next amazing actor of the movie,
Oh my god, and she
Upper
should
Lip
be in a horror
Lady.
movie.
Upper Lip.
She should I don't know what she looks like except oh,
Ooh.
she looks like is Meeper the right
Oh, they're the Muppet, the weird,
Meeper.
like me, 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 me. Yeah, the long, skinny
Yeah.
one who's like the Dr. Honeydew's assistant. Yeah, and he always gets
Yes.
blown up. Yes, holy
Yeah.
shit, because her hair too.
Yeah. So like a
She has
female version of that.
huge eyes, and I'm so sorry for like it's so mean to point all this out, but it's so hard not to look at and get distracted by. She has the weakest chin I have ever seen on a human being, which like gives her zero definition on the lower part of her face, and she has
Well,
no jawline. So that's why she looks like Meeper, is because her
yeah.
face just goes right into her neck, and then it's like so it's like
And she has like the red hair, like super dense
yeah,
red curls.
it's like she had like human features like drawn onto like this cylindrical tube of flesh.
Okay, you're way more harsh than I was gonna be, but that is accurate.
I'm sorry, lady. You'll never watch this, so we can
No, she
make fun of
never
this
will.
nameless
She's
actor.
I'm sure she's making more money than us. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah. She goes to
She's a character
conventions and
actor.
talks about Teen Witch.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I'm sorry to say, she's a terrifying character. Like she looked like she should be the villain in this movie. Like
The
she should
scariest
be.
librarian. She's dressed like a horrifying
Yes. Oh
librarian.
my god, if she was a librarian in like an indie horror movie, that would be so fucking good.
That would be
Oh,
amazing. She should have played
that would
Pearl.
be great.
She would be old enough. She could have played Pearl.
Oh, she would be a good Pearl. I don't know how I feel about seeing her naked though.
Oh.
Sorry, Chris.
It would add to the horror for sure.
Oh Lord. So
yeah, that
Louise is
lady.
trying out for like the main character that is of course opposing Brad because Brad is like this knight in shining armor type of a thing. And it seemed like she was doing the scene perfectly, but they still gave the role to someone else. And it was like, okay, what was the point of that?
Okay, so
That's
also I think
cool.
this is where the movie forgets who's Brad's girlfriend is supposed to be, because
Right.
she's
They
you would
cast a
think that
different person.
yeah, it would be cast to the blonde girl that they've been talking about the whole movie, but it's a completely separate black-haired woman who was the boys lead dancer, and then they're like hugging each other like, oh yay Brad, I got the part with you, and it's like, why does he have two girlfriends? Is this like something that's like subtly
Yeah.
layered into the movie?
Because again, this is also a part of Mean Girls, right? Like there is a play
Oh yeah,
scene.
because
Like
they
there's a
all
tryout.
yeah, because it's for the talent show that they do, and they're
Yeah.
all yeah, and they're
Well,
all in
I
the
think
theater.
there's a scene where like Katie has to kiss the Brad character for trying out in this
Oh, like
thing, but
that.
he's like already has like the blonde girl as a girlfriend.
Oh my god, this movie
There's
is like
so many
Tina
parallels.
Fey
Tina
just
Fey. I see what you did. You stole this, but you made it way better.
she saw that the diamond in the rough of Teen Witch and knew that there was a popular movie inside of it somewhere. Much like the ugly girl turning into the popular girl, Teen Witch got its time and got turned into Mean Girls.
Yeah, that's kind of true, hey. Um, so yeah, so
None of
that
these theories,
happens.
none of our speculations are grounded in any sort of reality. By the way, we're just completely talking shit about.
We're bullshitting everything.
Yeah, we
So
just
I guess
want it
that
to
was
be
the
true.
end of the school day. This was a day in the life of Louise so far. Beautiful, lovely day.
Then hard
And
cuts to the middle of the night.
right,
Hard
yeah,
cut
it's not. I don't.
darkness.
You apparently have to wait until I don't know
Tryouts
9 o'clock when it gets dark to bike home, even
This
though
is
school ends at
California too,
3:30.
so it's probably like 11 o'clock at night by this
11
point.
o'clock at night, and she's biking home, and she accidentally like gets hit by Brad when like he's making out in the car with his blonde girlfriend.
But Brad's looking
And
straight ahead the entire time. They don't even set up that, oh, he gets distracted by the making out and turns away, and that's why he
yeah,
doesn't see Louise. He's just staring at her the whole time, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no! And then turns.
yeah, it's really
There's no
terrible.
reason for him to have even like had that encounter whatsoever.
No, no reason. But she basically decides it's weird because then thunder starts happening. So in our heads we're like, "Oh, she's running from the thunder, so she needs to find shelter." But there's no rain.
No,
Doesn't make sense. But
they couldn't
apparently
afford it.
she's trying to find a phone, but that's never set up. She needs to phone to get a ride home.
But even though she gets offered a ride by Brad, she's too
Yeah.
embarrassed to take it. I guess
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
just acts really aggressive towards him. It's like, get away
She
from me. She seems
seems
really
super
pissed.
pissed. She's really pissed, but she's really embarrassed because he knows about the love letter because that happened that day. So it's
Yeah,
like
it's fresh
she's just
wounds.
having a shitty day, okay? She's having a
Yeah,
bad day.
got run
Um,
over.
so then we're introduced to Madame Sarina. She's the
Oh
little tiny
wow.
lady from Poltergeist.
Oh, she should not have been given such a big role in this movie. It's like she
She
does
can't really
great.
act.
No, she's not an actor. She is like one of those people that you just find and is perfect for a role, like a very
Yeah.
specific type of role. And clearly, whoever made this saw Poltergeist and thought, "Oh, I should put her in as a creepy witch." But it's like you missed all of why she was good in Poltergeist. Completely fucked it up. Steven Spielberg would be disappointed in Teen Witch.
I mean, I think many people were disappointed in Teen Witch. I don't think Steven Spielberg watched this.
He's just like, I gotta support my acting friend, that
Yeah, I
lady.
just want that lady.
That lady.
Um,
Poltergeist woman. I have a name. You could call me that. No, you're
call me
Poltergeist
that.
woman.
But yeah, so she goes there and she gets her palm read, and it's like very spooky, and
Oh, it's very
she's
spooky. Yes, it's terrifying.
finding out that she's like secretly a witch or something, but I don't
She's
think she
teen witching.
believes it.
Not yet.
Because she comes back later, but at this point she's like, okay, crazy lady, and then I don't know, she's randomly at home at her like sweet 16 party, I think is like the next scene.
Yeah, with the most depressing birthday party ever that's just with her parents and her little ghost brother, who again
And
they
her
don't
little
acknowledge. He's sitting
Yeah.
right on the edge of the cake, like in clear view of both of the parents.
Yeah.
Never anything
But it's
said.
weird because but this should have been such like a pivotal point in the movie because she's supposed to be getting her powers
Yeah.
at this point. But it's like one of the shortest scenes, and it's so depressing. Like her parents and her brother are sitting with a cake on the coffee table, and they're just talking. And her her friend phones her Blossom friend
Yeah,
phones, and
her
is just
only friend.
like telling her, "I'm sorry to tell you this, but there's gonna be like a party that also all your friends can't come because they're all going to the popular girls party."
Why
And
isn't
she's
she
like,
at the
"But
party?
I'll be there. I'll be there. I'll be right there though. Don't worry. I'm coming now." And then it cuts, and that's it. You don't see anything.
No,
It
no.
just cuts to like the next morning when
But
I don't
also
know, Louise
she
wakes
is
up.
given by her parents the ugliest sweater vest that she will be wearing for a good chunk of the movie. The green sweater
Yeah.
vest she gets as a gift from her parents. Like, what a horrible gift.
It's a terrible gift. And then
Awful sweater.
I don't know how she. Oh right, and then she's at school, and the theater teacher. No, the theater teacher gives her the medallion.
But before that is the scene where they have the sex ed where Paul Rudd comes back, and Paul has his next big Paul Rudd scene where he raps slang of penis names, penis slang names.
Oh yeah.
Because the lady pulls out an umbrella and she's like, "What is this?" He's like, "A dong, a schlong, a biggie blong," and he just like raps like 20 names of a penis, and then she's like, "That's very good. Now sit down." Like, it's like he's also a ghost, maybe, because no one reacts to him like he's a real person. Like,
people just kind of think he's funny. Like people are just kind of like, oh.
And this woman,
like they don't
again, the woman looks like a crusty old librarian, so she would be like upset at hearing this, but she's just like, "Oh, well, that was very good."
Oh yeah, she opens her umbrella and she's like, "Whoa!"
And she then, after he rattles off the list of all this penis slang, she then immediately turns to the chalkboard where there is like a serpent snake sperm, and it's swimming towards what looks like the face from Teletubbies, the sunshine face, and it's like, "And now the sperm will enter here," and she points towards the mouth, and I was like, this is a very bizarre way to teach kids about how a woman gets pregnant. It's like it swims into here, and then it just shows a picture of a uterus, and she just has a circle, and it's like then a baby gets made. I was like, this is terrible advice. And then
so you're gonna forget that the vagina exists and just
the vagina is not talked about at all, and there's no penis. There is just sperm. Is flying around, and then she pulls out a condom, and every student in the class says condom for the first time in their lives. They're like, condom. And they all start saying it and chanting together and pounding on the table.
What the fuck is this
scene? She tells the class, "Oh, and make sure you have to wear a condom at all times or women will get pregnant." It's like, that is terrible advice. There's gonna be people that think they just have to have condoms on even when they're not having sex.
And again, there's a scene in Mean Girls where it was like,
there is a sex scene. Holy shit!
Yes, there's a sex scene, and she's just like, or was it a guy? I don't remember.
Yeah,
like,
I think
remember,
it's the PE teacher or something.
The PE teachers wear condoms because if you don't, you will have sex and you will die.
Oh, that's right. He's super blunt
like,
about
don't
it.
Don't have sex.
Yeah,
he's like, don't have sex. If you have sex, you will you will basically just die. And then he's like, all right, everyone take a condom. It's like it's like a funnier version of this scene.
Oh my god, it is exactly the same. I don't know. I don't know which is funnier. Condom.
I mean, that is funny, but it's like
it's amazing.
Not grounded in any kind of reality. Like at least the take a condom scene is funny because it's kind of relatable in a way.
It's how a male PE teacher would like teach a bunch of young girls about sex.
Don't do it. If you have sex, you will get pregnant and you will die, or something. I don't
An
know.
STD, you die. You get pregnant and die.
Something.
So
It's
yeah,
just
there's
weird.
again, that is just a random scene that is put into the movie that has nothing to do with the rest of the movie. Like,
Yes.
there is no point to it. It's just a scene. And it's not even like, if this movie was a comedy, that scene would at least make sense because it's something funny happening. But this isn't a comedy. This is supposed to be like a teen drama, kind of. And
Yes. I almost
but
feel like we should do a comparison video between
Mean Girls.
Mean Girls and
Teen
Teen Witch.
We have to set up a whole new channel for just these sorts of things now. I have to compare and contrast
It's
old
okay.
shitty
We'll just
movies.
keep it on this channel. No one cares. We've got 10 followers.
Yeah, that's true. We can. We don't have to. We don't have, it's like people are wanting us to stick to the formula that works. Emma.
Oh, this formula doesn't work yet. It's okay.
Our formula. Our
We should be
tens of
finding new
fans
formulas.
demand it.
And then oh god, oh yeah, that's right. So after that, then we get to the medallion
Yeah.
scene.
Then we get
where-
to back to No Chin.
back to Meeper
Meeper
lady.
Yes.
So we get to her,
Oh, so
and
tragic.
she just, they're in like this, because okay, so Louise was cast as like the set designer, I think, for this play. So she's
Okay.
in the back room helping the theater teacher with stuff, and she finds this amulet,
And she
basically
casually
this,
tells her that she loves her. Just, I really love you. She says it to her, this teacher.
I really love you. I see so much of you in me. And I was like, I don't know if I would want her to
Ooh.
say that to me.
No. I feel like, oh my god, are you serious? Just starts crying.
Oh, she's like, oh no. But she finds this amulet and she's like, you know what? This is yours. I don't remember ever seeing this here. So clearly it's yours. It's like, okay, so she has this amulet. Ooh.
Which he happens to find in a random fucking back room for high school.
Yes. Oh god. And then when does she go back to Madame Serena's?
Well, yeah, you find out that, like, she's got, well, again, she starts, oh god, she first thing goes on her date with date rape
right.
boy, who's like
So
who's the nerdy, he looks like Where's Waldo, but just says the weirdest shit. Like, he's like a 50s nerd, but
and this is the popular girl's cousin that you find out. She basically just pawned him off on Louise for this random date. And he shows up and he's got Ace Ventura hair, but he's dressed like he's from the 50s. And then he also looks like Where's Waldo, but he's doing like a weird caricature of a nerd impression, but no personality. It's just a caricature and nothing ever makes sense.
And he
It's
makes like weird noises, even like like he's not even talking English sometimes.
It's like when you see in cartoons where like their eyes pop out of their head and then snap back. It's like he tries to do that in real life. He's like, wow. Oh, wow.
It's like he's having a stroke at all times.
Yes. And he's got his glasses and he's like, oh, I'm a nerd. I'm taking my glasses off and I put them back on. Woo.
It's almost like he's a less talented Jim Carrey. Like, Jim Carrey saw Teen Witch, saw this character, and saw the potential in it to turn him into Ace Ventura. But he just does it in a far more successful way.
But does it because he's like the only weird character. Like he's, like everyone around him grounds him, but this movie is just all over the place. There's no reason for this character to even be. This whole sequence doesn't need to exist. She doesn't need to go to the dance.
No.
There's nothing established here apart from she is able to make this dude disappear at the end because that's the only magical thing that happens. So she's at this dance, has
their
a terrible
dance is
time.
Dirty Barn theme too.
Yeah, it's weird as fuck. Like, so when they finally leave,
on the ground.
They finally leave, and like she's like, this guy is like driving her back, and he's trying to force her to suck him off.
Oh, that's
And
right. There's a
right,
really uncomfortable scene where he's like pushing on the top of her head into his crotch. It's like,
and
whoa, this movie
like,
took
this
a
is
dark.
intense for this movie. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And she's just like, I wish you would go away. And then he just disappears. And the car just kind of drives into an
Like,
empty area of the road. And then
yeah.
she's suddenly driving.
And there's just like cars. And also, this is another great, terrible editing job because there's like a shot where she first grabs the wheel and there's a car coming right towards her. But then it cuts to a wide shot of the car and there's no other cars in front of
I
her or
know.
even on the same road. And it cuts back to the interior. You see another car coming towards her. Cut back to the exterior, nothing. It's like she's hallucinating. Again, this fits into the coma theme where it's like nothing's really actually happening.
Nothing's happening, but it's fine.
It's so fine. And she
So
gets it
that
over.
happened.
Yeah. Yeah, she's fine with it, though. There's no repercussions. She doesn't have any, like, emotional fallout from it. It's just like, no, I'm just gonna... I actually think she goes to the witch now, because she's like, oh, my magic powers made a...
Or is it after the brother turns into a dog?
Oh, dear Lord, that's right. Oh.
So I think
I don't know.
she
I
gets
don't
home from the
know.
dance. She gets home from the dance and she sees her brother making this weird fucking pizza
God,
with shit all over the place. And then she's just like, you're a dog. And then he turns into a dog. And then he's running around. And then she throws him into a pre-made bubble bath and it washes off of him. And it's like, what? Okay.
How did you know that would turn him back?
I feel like maybe that should have happened after the medallions, or like, because it's never established that like water rinses the magic off. I don't think that is a thing that they ever established. Like, there's water that falls onto money at one point, but like,
yeah, and I think it ruins the money, so maybe.
but it's never really.
No, it's not pointed out very well. It's very subtle if it
No.
is, because it's like, oh, okay, sure. But she also didn't see that, so she wouldn't know that that's
She
how
wouldn't
you
know
do
that
it.
anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. And at one point, so she goes back to Madame Serena and is just like, okay, what's happening? What's going on here? And she points out that the medallion has found her way back to her because she's a reincarnated witch, and this medallion has always been with her in a previous life. It was like, okay. That's random.
Sure, why not?
Sure,
that makes
sure,
no
lady.
sense.
And then she basically teaches her that she can get whatever she wants. And this scene where she keeps asking, like, so you mean I can do this? And she's like, yes. I can do this? Yes. I said you can do literally whatever you want. Like, stop asking.
For fuck's sakes. Just assume the answer is yes.
Just assume. And it's kind of also established that Madame Serena is wanting to use her for some of her magic so she can get what she wants to. And so, like, Louise leaves and tries to cast these magic spells. And once Louise leaves, you see that Madame Serena has like this dude in the back room that she wants to like make love to.
It's like her sex slave, because she has a frog and then she turns the frog into the handsome man. But it's really creepy because it still ribbits like a frog, so it would really ruin, I would imagine, part of the appeal.
Yeah, and that's the scene where she gets Louise to make a bunch of money, and then the water falls on it and it's ruined. But like, Louise didn't care about taking the money. It was just, I don't know, she just left it there for the Serena. I don't know. But yeah, so then Louise just goes to an abandoned amusement park where she's like casting all these spells, and then it starts raining, and you're like, okay, I guess it worked. I guess because the Ferris wheel turned on and she's casting casting spells. So
fucking weird.
That's cool, I guess.
This is amazing.
And we don't really know what she cast. I think it's just like a popularity spell or something. I don't.
The ancient art of popularity spell.
Right. And then she has the voodoo doll after that. So then she has the voodoo doll for
Oh
the like
Jesus!
teacher, and she like brings it to class and forces him to undress in front of everybody, and then
Oh
he gets
yeah, which would
fired.
should definitely get him fired. I don't think he gets fired though. I think they just all laugh at him.
It doesn't show anything. He just kind of gets kicked out. It's really weird.
Well, then
And
there,
then this is when after this we were starting to get into more of like a montage type of a situation because we're
oh, the
just seeing
magic.
like event after event of her getting cooler and cooler, and then we see
Big
this is the
quotations. I'll say
yeah
cooler and
cooler, cooler.
cooler. So
So now we
cool.
see her and Blossom just like
Oh god.
biking, and then they approach some the Paul Rudd gang as they're rapping.
Oh
And this is
Jesus.
like a famous scene in the movie, and it's my favorite scene of the movie, where
It's
they're singing, they're doing like a rap, and it cuts to them like they're in front of like a car, and there's a boombox on top of it, and there's like two guys with vests, and then the Paul Rudd guy is in the middle with like this flowy shirt, and they're like, top that, top that. I don't know if you can do the top that, cause I'm hip and you're not.
it's
And
the
then
I want to hit them all so hard. It's the all the lamest white people they've
oh
collected
my
to
god,
dance in a
I'm hot
street.
and you're not.
And again, these people are actually doing this. Like they're not under a magical spell. This is just
No,
what they do. They go into a
it's just
street
what
in
they
the middle
do.
of the day. And also it's great because it's conveyed as really cool because Blossom's like,
So
cool.
cool. So I love what Blossom says because she's like, they stop and she's just immediately amazed, like, oh my god, look how funky he is.
Funky.
Look how funky he is.
So
I will never be that hip. Like she
oh,
says that
no,
line.
you won't. No one will.
And then of course Louise is like, oh, I don't know about that. You should go talk to them. She's like, I don't know if I can do
Maybe
that.
you will
So
be cool.
she does like a little spell on her, and then she like approaches them like doing
The
her
ancient
rap, and then
rap spell.
that's when we're like, oh my god, or you're like, that should be my Rudolph, because she
Yeah.
and Paul Rudd could do like this epic like rap battle together, and it would be so cool.
Oh
It would
my
be
god.
so funny. It would be amazing.
Like just yeah, like
Dub
it,
that, dub that.
I think that's like keeps me going through watching this movie is imagining the made up new remake
Me
that we just
too, because
imagined.
it would be so much better.
Yeah, it'd be so funny. It's just the way they're standing and just their stupid rap battle, and then it just cuts back to little lady again with it's like she just kind of drops in on her from time to time and
Yeah.
hi, how's it going? I want my love spell for Bradley, please. I think this is where they make
Yep.
a love spell.
But before we get there, I just want to
Oh,
quickly say, if anyone has not seen Teen Witch, please just look up the rap sequence, because that will make you want to watch it if you like
yes,
bad movies.
yes, that is a great.
So please watch that. And imagine Paul Rudd and Maya Rudolph.
Yes, yes, it is a
um,
delight.
but yeah, so carry on, the love
Oh
spell.
yeah. So yeah, then she goes back to whatever Madame Serena, and she's like, "I want to become more popular now. I want to look like I don't know some '80s lady." She looks kind of like
I want to look cool.
Pat Benatar. There we go. And so they're like,
Uh,
oh, "Okay, you can just pull out my magic spell, and now you're going to be super popular, and you're going to go to this concert and kind of like become this '80s hair metal lady." Because that's the next musical number
right,
where it
that's
cuts to
why she
her just
goes
in the
there.
concert. And you're like, what the fuck's happening now?
I don't even like. I didn't realize that was why she went there.
It's so weird, and I guess it's like it's someone who was famous when this movie was made, and they're like, oh, we're gonna get Shauna for our
Ah,
movie. Her name is Shauna, and also
wow. Okay.
again they ride their bicycles down the Los
Yeah.
Angeles Bridge to go see this concert, and they live in like the suburbs. Like that's a fucking
Yeah.
long ass bike ride.
That's all right. All right, girls.
Like they're
Sure.
2-hour commutes.
2-hour bike ride to a concert. Yeah.
And then there's like the schlumpy version of the guy from the Lost Boys, the saxophone guy. Remember,
Whoa. Yeah.
the sexy saxophone guy from Lost Boys that plays the saxophone at the beginning with no shirt on. There's like that, but in this movie, and he's wearing like a bright orange like muscle t-shirt, and he's got like a gut and like these white denim dyed jeans on. It's just, Eddie's got a sweet mullet, and it's amazing. Everything about it is
always
just,
the mullets.
oh, it's the 80s. You got to have some mullet in there. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
They don't really explain why they go to the concert. I guess their magic powers gave them backstage passes.
Yeah, just like check the list again. I'm pretty sure you'll see me on there. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, come on in."
Oh, use my magic powers.
So they're at this concert, and then that happens, and then
I think she gets her
I just
jacket, and
wrote
that's the whole
down.
point of the scene.
Oh, that's right. I wrote down more random shit. Basically, Louise being cool and getting random shit.
Now she looks like Shanna. But it like
Yeah, so
her
she
cool
that's right.
person jacket has like fake military medals and like what looks like little patches of animal fur all over it. It's
That is so 80s though. That is very 80s. So
amazingly
it's like she
80s.
put that on the next morning and then she had like this spell like made her super cool and then she walks down the stairs and she's basically just wearing like a skirt and the jean jacket
And
and
everyone
she has her
fucking
hair
looks.
done so it's not frizzy anymore. It's like cool, now you're popular, I
She
guess. You're not
immediately
wearing
blows
this
off
giant
Blossom.
jacket. Right? Yeah,
Immediately fuck
immediately
off.
because Brad and his girlfriend are like, "Come ride with us," and she's like, "Okay," and then Blossom's like, "The fuck."
I guess I'll ride my
Okay,
boat. We just drove 4 hours
just be
together to
by
see Shauna.
myself, right?
Oh, and then there's a
So,
creepy dance number where it's a montage where it's like she's walking down the hallway of the school and more kids keep coming behind her, and it's like shot with this dramatic lighting, but it's like intercut with like football guys coming to her door, and she's just dancing in front of fucking
that's
the
right.
street, and then Paul Rudd guy is rapping out of the car at her,
Yes.
but this is like all happening in cuts, so it's
Yep.
like a music video or like the worst structured montage ever created because it like cuts back to other scenes. Like now she's back in school.
Yeah, because it's like every hot guy needs a cool girl or something.
And it makes no
He needs a
sense.
popular girl.
But also it's like the
Oh my god.
days are changing too, so it's like you have no idea. And also the old teacher comes back, so he's not fired, he's just like now loves her as well. It's so creepy. It's so weird.
Great.
And
Yeah.
it's just
And
like
then we get pretty soon after like this weird montage thing of her being cool. There's a
it's
weird
so lame.
sex scene in that
Oh god
creepy
damn it. Is
house.
that the next scene after that? Oh
Yeah,
no. Oh
I
god.
think
This
it
is the true
is.
terror. This filled me with dread watching this scene.
This is the part where I really wanted to recut this movie into like a trailer for a horror movie.
Yes.
Because just with this sequence, and honestly, a lot of the shots in the movie could be a horror movie. I just don't know what the plot would be trying to imply because
I
it's
think
so
it's
all
like
over the
it could
place.
it's like one of those like kind of like sex thrillers where it's like she's obsessed with Brad and she'll do anything to get him, and she like fucks over all of her friends to get closer to Brad and manipulates him and like always is watching him so she knows his patterns and like what he does and what he
Yeah, she
likes.
like takes her shoes off in this abandoned house, and it's weird because like the establishing shot of this house, it's like it's gross. It's like an empty wooden structure
It looks like
surrounded
it's gonna
by
collapse.
sunflowers,
It's
like
a
a field of
it's
sunflowers
the
in like
perfect
the
setting
dead of
for a
summer,
horror. Like you
and it's
just
like dead grass and shit.
and dramatic god rays coming through the windows and shit.
Like,
Like
they thought they were making it look romantic, but it looked scary as fuck. Like, it's like out of The Hills Have Eyes or something.
you wouldn't want to touch anything. Or like, yeah, it's like the house that the family lives in from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like you're just gonna see Leatherface at the top of the stairs wearing like a human mask and just
Yep,
this movie.
basically.
And it's like, yeah, there's like wallpaper, there's holes in the walls, there's not even like actual proper walls. It's just like, And then she
It's
like
just wooden foundation.
and then she takes off her goddamn shoes and walks barefoot up the dirtiest, most disgusting carpet ever put on the film.
Yeah, they put carpet on wooden stairs for some reason. The only thing in the entire house that had carpet, because everything's just wood, but the stairs have
Yeah.
carpet on them, and they're so gross and dirty.
And then it cuts to Brad like leaning on like the stairwell, and then he just like Muppet zooms away where he's like whoop and goes like
Yeah,
off
it's so
screen.
scary. He's just like, it's like if you see someone staring at you and you look and there's like a beat of them still staring and then they just quickly shuffle away. It's like that's what he did. But
Yeah.
like the camera's looking up at him and he's looking way down at you. So it's super fucking creepy.
And she follows him into this abandoned room with like boards all over the windows and tattered curtains, and he's just like leaning against the wall in his like muscle shirt and
So
jeans, looking out the
this
window.
was a thing where it was like I was watching this and I'm like, if you're entering a room and you both move away to the opposite sides of the room, that is a very bad sign. Like
Oh yeah,
maybe
because
you
they're
should.
doing like this weird like standoffish
It's
like
like a
circling of
standoff
each other.
where they both like go to the far side of the room and they're like circling each other. It's like they're gonna have a fight,
This is how
but
it
it's
happens
supposed
in
to
the
be
80s.
romantic. It's supposed to be romantic. So it's like, that's not a good sign if you want to get romantically involved with someone and you're trying to stay as far away from each other as possible. Like it doesn't imply sexual tension, it
No.
implies that you don't like each other.
This is probably the least sexy shot sex scene ever put to film. I would say,
Yeah.
like a porno has more like emotional tension in it. When the
Like
pizza
when we
guy
watched
comes to the
X,
door,
when we watched X and they were like shooting a scene
the
about pouring
lemonade.
lemonade, I'm like, that's more sexy than
It
this.
was. And so she essentially rapes Brad because she puts him under a
Yeah.
spell. He doesn't actually like her. He is just manipulated into liking her, and she takes full advantage of it, raping him in a dirty old abandoned house.
So great.
They really didn't think
So great.
about the deeper meaning of that scene.
No, because women can't rape men. Not in the 80s.
It's
It's
again,
impossible.
there's an episode of South Park where they kind of make fun of like, I don't know, for a while there was like always those there was like that famous case where like this female teacher had a relationship with a young boy
Yeah,
and
that's
was sent to jail for being a pedophile. But because she was attractive, like a lot of men acted very weird about
ew.
it, and they're like, well, he's lucky to have a teacher like that. And like people didn't look into the how much like the underlying context of what that situation is and why
Yeah,
it's so
that's really fucked
inappropriate.
up.
So,
And you're
but
that young, you don't
yeah,
understand what yeah.
it's a creepy and like a privileged position to be in when you're a teacher, that you need to make sure you don't take advantage of these hormonally imbalanced young people who you
Yes.
could trick into thinking they love you if you manipulate them, is what she probably did. And
Probably.
so there's an episode of South Park where they make fun of that, where the Kyle's little brother, who's in kindergarten, has a relationship with his teacher, and because the teacher's hot, he goes to the police and he's like, it's like, I need you to help me with my little brother. He's getting molested by his teacher. He's like, wait, the kindergarten teacher? Oh, she's hot. It's like, I better get to him right away and give him the luckiest boy in the world award. And he's 5
Oh
years
my
old. He's in kindergarten.
god.
And
It's
everyone,
amazing that like if South Park is being more like educated
thoughtful.
on the matter, thoughtful than the actual government or like actual society, that's super fucked up. That is
Yeah,
really fucked up, you
yeah,
know?
it's really just like, oh, another step towards humanity being even worse than I thought it could be. Just,
South Park has a better relationship with
yeah,
with
has
that
higher
situation
moral
than
standards.
higher moral standards than
Yeah,
general society. That's good to know.
yeah,
Ah, anyway, so
yeah. So
that happens. And then Louise figures out she's too popular and she doesn't like it, and she has to go back to um, Madame Serena and talk to her about it. And by this point, Madame Serena has like an
the
intense 80s
ugliest fucking
house.
house in the world.
And there's a weird scene where like she sits on Serena's lap, and then they laugh, and then they switch places so that Madame Serena sits on her lap. And it's supposed to be endearing, but it's just really creepy.
Why is she even sitting there to begin with? Like, what the hell's the point of, and they're like
So
hugging each
weird.
other, and like, it's like, why is that there? She's like, it's okay, sweetie. It's like, it'll be
It's
fine.
okay.
I
And
don't
she
even,
really doesn't want her to stop doing these things because it's like giving her
yeah,
secondary powers for some
which
reason.
they
So
don't
that's why she
explain
has.
at
They
all.
don't explain it at all. She just somehow is mooching off her power and is able to like make all this stuff.
And then if she stops, I guess it'll all go away, I guess. But again, it's never explained.
Nothing is explained again, and they go. So eventually, there's like a dance that happens where she walks in and she walks in with Madame Serena at this school dance, and it's just so random.
But like,
And
why doesn't she walk in with her
everyone's
actual
staring at them.
friend? Like, when you want to go with like, your friend you've been like shitting on the whole
Like,
movie, Blossom. Like,
again, she's never like rekindled that friendship. It's just they're kind of just fucked, I guess.
yeah, she's
And
kind of out of the movie. Like, I don't
she's
think they.
kind of just hey, she's hanging out with Paul Rudd now. Like
Yeah,
they're
did
kind
they
of
even have
becoming
like?
a thing.
Do they have a
They're
moment where they
dancing.
rekindle their
They
friendship or
dance
anything?
together. No, no, no. It's just Paul Rudd and Blossom are like dancing together at the end of the movie, but
That's
there's
so.
no rekindling of Louise and Blossom. It's just
That's so
Louise and Brad.
funny.
She only cares about Brad.
That's so messed up. She doesn't even give a shit about her friend. Like, that just clearly
No.
shows that she never cared about her.
She only wanted Brad this whole time.
Brad,
And
you know what?
so she's like
She did it for
at
the
this
D.
dance, and everyone is obsessed with Louise, and like the camera is going through the crowd and everyone is just staring, and like it's really creepy.
I also
And
think that Rick and Morty, the guys who made Rick and Morty in the first season, they also ripped off Teen Witch, because there is an episode where Morty gets Rick to make him a love potion, and it's like a pheromone that gets this girl to be
oh yeah,
attracted
that's
to
right.
him, but then
Yeah.
it mutates and everyone becomes attracted to him, and he walks into the school dance and everyone's looking at him, and the band's singing a song about how attractive Morty is.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Teen Witch has influenced our modern society
It's
far
so
more than we
influential.
realize.
Everything comes down to Teen Witch, you
Oh
know?
my god,
Like
modern
you
comedy.
can everything. It's straight out of Teen Witch.
Modern, yeah, it's
Paul
like
Rudd
without
is
Teen Witch.
really just
He
Paul Rudd
wouldn't
is
have
like
a career today without this
no,
guy.
it's his main influence.
Paul Rudd was like Paul Rudd was the understudy of that guy, and he
Yes.
would have gotten the part. So Paul Rudd just like, he's like, I'm gonna fuck this guy over. I'm gonna steal his style and turn it into my own.
He's had so many plastic surgeries to look like this man too.
He never
Paul
actually
Rudd.
even looked like him. He like stole his
He has to
identity.
dye. He
He
has to
killed
dye
him.
his hair every week.
You find out that we go to IMDb and that actor's name is Paul Rudd.
Oh my god.
And he stole his identity.
Oh, poor guy. But yeah, Louise is at this dance and there's so many reveal shots of her. Like we see
God.
her walk in, that's a reveal shot, and we see her looking around, and then there's another like reveal shot of her feet panning all the way up as if we haven't seen her already. And we're like, I've seen her so many times at this dance. I don't know why you're doing another reveal shot of her.
So
But
goddamn.
she just tears the amulet off and throws it at Serena, and
Yeah.
apparently that just gets rid of her powers and gives them to Serena, and so now
I-
people aren't paying attention to her anymore, except we see that Brad still likes her, and then they have like their first dance where he's not like being forced to like her, and then it ends. Oh, beautiful. She didn't need magic after all. He just liked her. Except he never asked her out, so I don't know how like accurate
He
that
just
would
had
be.
to entrap her, and then when she had sex with him, he's like, wait, she'll have sex with me? That's the real magic.
That's the real magic that I need in my life. And blonde girl doesn't even seem to give much of a shit, to be honest.
No,
She has like
there's no scene where she's even jealous of Brad. She's like pissed
No.
off that Brad had sex with her or is spending all the time with her. She's just like, whatever. Like, there's not even a reaction, I think, of her looking upset. She's just not in the movie anymore.
Yeah.
there's never that, like, rivalry that you would have between the popular girl and main girl. It's just non-existent. And then they just end the movie with them making out on the dance floor while everyone dances around them, and it's just beautiful.
That's it.
It's just perfect bookend to this amazing movie.
And we don't see anything else of, like, the brother, of the parents.
Oh, that's right. The
like,
last scene of the brother is him turning into a dog, getting thrown in the bathtub, and that's it. That's the last time I think we see him. Maybe one other time for one scene, but not much.
Yeah, that's it. He's just doesn't, because maybe so she's solved her inner demon, so she doesn't need her brother anymore.
He got to move on. His unfinished business was done. So he transcended into another plane of existence at the end. He finally got to leave the mortal realm.
That's why he was such a piece of shit. It's because he was pissed about being there. Because Louise was not learning her lesson. She's just like, fuck.
It's like, until I get my sister laid, I can't move on. And it's like, there should have just been one scene where he's like looking at them, like having sex in that creepy ass house, and he just like disappears
with cake. Like, disappears.
Sparkles. And just like a little food stain remains where he
on the window. Yeah, like he wouldn't wave.
Like chocolate.
Because I would just picture him like, and then he just disappears. Like, not even a wave, just a face.
Yeah, no, they don't acknowledge you. Oh, that'd actually be way, way worse if like she noticed him during it and then they like wave at each other.
Oh yeah, no, that can't happen. Don't need that. Don't need it.
So yeah, that's
Teen Witch.
Oh no.
Oh my lord.
You just kind of have to experience it. Like, no matter how much explanation we give, you can't understand how nonsensical it is until you watch it yourself and just truly
you need to watch it. And then if there's anyone that has connections in the film industry, you know what? Let's get together and make a remake of this, like Wet Hot American Summer style.
Everyone who's worked on Teen Witch,
all the
dead.
SNL people.
That's all we need. It's all we need. We just need the entire 90s cast, SNL, most of the 2000 alumni.
You know who could be a good teacher?
Yeah.
That's still alive? Will Ferrell. But I don't think we have a big enough budget for Will Ferrell.
Well, Will Ferrell has his own production company, so if we can get him on board to produce our Teen Witch remake with his connections, may be able to. That's all you got to do.
Hey, Will, if you're listening, come on, give us a shot.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't trust myself to make a movie.
Well, you know, Will Ferrell has a lot. Like, he just has to tell us what to do.
Right? It's fine. It's like, okay, we have this loose idea.
We have a vision. We have a vision. We just don't know how to do it.
That is like that must be the person that those people hate talking to the most. Where it's like, I got an idea. I don't know how to execute it. You have to do everything else, but I have an idea.
I feel like if I was able to get someone who knows how to write a proper script, I could take it from there. I could like get decent. I could probably figure it out, but like the writing the script part is not my forte.
Yeah,
you can write a script.
Oh yeah. you need like a team of comedic writers to go through Teen Witch and just break down the movie like scene by scene and just figure out why everything works the way it does, and then just have to make a joke out of every scene of the movie.
Yes.
It's just, I don't even know. It's just, it's too precious for this world. Teen Witch.
Yeah. I mean, if you watch it, let us know what your experience is in the comments.
Yeah.
I would love to hear it.
I just want one person to say that we were responsible for making them watch Teen Witch, and they'll probably hate us for it, but that's fine. get a group of your friends together and don't explain anything about the movie to them. Just all sit down and enjoy the cinematic experience that is Teen Witch. You'll
Yeah.
not regret it.
Enjoy it.
Well, actually, you might, but
enjoy it in all of its glory.
you can blame us. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's the end of this episode. So we'll see you guys.
So we'll see next Casual Creeps. We'll see what level of casualness we have.
It varies very largely how casual the episodes are.
From them to Teen Witch.
Keeping you on your toes. So
you never know. God knows what we follow up that with. I don't even know.
We'll see. Well, yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. When we figure it out.
I'll let you know. All right.
Bye.
All right, podcast's over.